Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining. And as you know, the idea is to spend about a little bit more than half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, talking about our executive MBA program, and not in the usual way of somebody from the school saying how great it is, but actually me being the professor at the school and being linked to the MBA program for many years, also having the pleasure of being the professor to distinguished alumni. And we will do it by actually talking to people who know more how it really looks like. Today we have Anca and Aleš with us. Anca Cirstea is the, as you can see, Central European Finance Director from Coca-Cola, Romania. And Aleš Falatov is Director of Marketing and Business Development at the Slovenian steel company, steel industry. Both of them our MBA alumni. Relatively recent one, since the program has been running already for more than 30 years. They have been in the last 5 years with us. And I'm sure with memories still fresh, they will tell us more about, as I said, how things really work. So maybe Vera, thank you very much for bringing back these nice two people to us. And maybe as an idea, just in the beginning, a few questions from my side. And of course, if any of the colleagues who are in the session would like to ask questions, feel free just to put it into the Q&A area, and Vera will communicate it to us. So, Anca, it has been 5 years since, flying fast, I guess. But I hope you still remember the decision-making time. In the MBA, it's not a small decision. Joining for 2 years, a lot of time goes for it, a lot of energy, also some money. So what was your thinking? Why MBA and why Bled?
Yeah, you're right. It's not so long ago. I still remember, of course, and it was a wise decision. I did make a couple of good decisions in my life. This was one of them, for sure. And thanks a lot for inviting me here, Nena. It's always very, very nice to see you again and some fellow colleagues from the program. I had heard about the program from other colleagues. I'm working for the Coca-Cola company, as you said at the beginning. And I had heard about the program from other colleagues from Coca-Cola who have attended before. And I only heard good news about the program. I wanted to be part of it before. But it's very difficult to identify what is the right timing, because there is timing. Yeah, time is not an unlimited resource, and there are so many priorities that you need to deal with in life, from family, from a professional point of view. So this is why I had to wait before going for it. But at some point, when I realized that this is not a selfish thing to do, but this was going to be an investment, not only for me, in myself, but also in also for the company I'm working with, and also for my family, because I'm a role model now, and so on. So there are many implications when you make a decision like that. It was the right decision at the right time, I think, and I'm very, very glad I made it. And Brad has offered me a unique experience from learning point of view, but also from connecting with other people from point of view. So it's also a very beautiful place to be. Can't wait to be back.
Thanks. And Aleš, if I may ask you, people usually think of joining a program as a bit of an Excel exercise. You put things on the one side, the good things, on the one side, the less good things, and then you kind of... how did it work for you?
You mean for deciding, or
for deciding? For
deciding, it was, on one side, it's a sizable time investment. a part of that, it's a sizable financial investment. I mean, for me, you know, specifically because my employer covered only a part of the tuition, and we're not talking, you know, pocket change. Let's be honest. So my main question was, is this going to be a waste of time and money for me? Very, very simply. And then to find out whether or not this was going to be the case, I contacted several of my coworkers. Actually have done the program. I've contacted other professionals who are known who have done it, you know, up to 25 years before me. And this was a basis for my decision to join it.
And in a way, what Anca mentioned, you know, knowing when it's the best time, I guess one way of looking at it, which we usually do, is when I can, given other obligations. But probably the other is when I should, from the career development, personal development perspective. Both of you, please, no offense taken, but both of you came to the program not really as the youngest people, okay?
I will remember this time.
Yes, I can imagine, yes.
I can't believe you just said this, no, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously in your prime, but still, does it make sense? I mean, what does business maturity and from that perspective, is there a feeling that you know, when to join? Aleš, you not?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it's, you know, personally, I waited for the moment while I felt I belonged in an executive MBA class, which means, you know, waiting until I was an executive. But, you know, then it's, you know, I was, before I actually joined several years, but then like Anca said, you know, life happens. There are certain things that delay the enrollment. However, I do like to stress this, you know, if you do it too early, I don't think it's a good thing doing it too early, because it's in the sense of a business maturity, you don't have the, let's say, the as wide view as maybe you have once you reach some more senior position. Now, we've had everything in our class, from, you know, entrepreneurs to very young people to, you know, some really older, really senior executives. And I felt, and I still feel, you know, that maybe the youngest in the crowd that didn't really have the practical experience to connect what they're learning to, didn't really get the optimal payback in terms of knowledge from the program.
Thanks. Going through it, I mean, I guess with experience you had, both of you, and with let me put it like that, that part of experience which makes us used to long hours and a lot of pressure and so on. You had it. You had your training before the program, but I can imagine that the program is demanding. So Anca, from the, you know, balancing long hours in Bled and still having a job somewhere waiting for you, but not always even waiting, but you occasionally getting emails during the day and so on. How did you manage to balance this?
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend it's always easy, right? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's really challenging. But I guess I'm going to refer also a little bit back to Aleš's comment. It comes also with maturity, right? I think it helps navigate, because maturity helps you prioritize things in general, helps you prioritize things at work as well. Of course, it requires flexibility. I think what helped me is the fact that you know the school schedule well in advance. So you can look at the school schedule on one side, and on the other side, you can look at your own, professional and personal schedule. So you can see how you can plan to navigate in a way that you can accommodate both. Of course, long hours, sustained effort comes with a lot of professional experience as well, resilience, and all these things that we have already acquired in our professional and personal lives. It's probably the time where I should mention that I also have 4 kids. I suppose they did their jobs in terms of building my resilience too.
Yeah.
But jokes aside, also the school helps you build this muscle. And I think the fact that we are all together in this experience, the students help as well, because that was something very beautiful that I have experienced. Us working together,
supporting each other,
supporting each other. It was really very beautiful. And so, but again, it required it's very important to say, I got the company buy-in in this program. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult. So I explained the reasons why I wanted to go, the reason why I had postponed the decision because of the complexity of job personally and so on, why I thought that this was the time for me, why I'm motivated to go. And I asked for support in terms of some flexibility here and there, where it felt like it was going to be very difficult to accommodate everything. And also, I will say this, I hope, Ned, I'm not saying something that I'm not supposed to say. The school also was flexible here and there for me. So,
it's
a couple of
okay
modules I have, because I did the program over 2 years, a couple of modules I had done with a different class, which was very helpful. So I guess this was a very good example of, if there is a will, there is a way. A little bit of flexibility from the school, from my company, and more flexibility from my side. If you're motivated to go through this, you can find a way for it to work.
Just to clarify what Anca said, if somebody cannot attend a particular course, we try to find another time for that course. You still have to finish all the obligations, but with a flexible timing. And just a small one for you, Aleš. Did you drive home or you slept at Bled? Because you could drive home.
I would advise anyone against that. I slept in Bled the whole time. I think it's if you're planning to go this route and to enroll into the EMBA, you should plan that you will be spending your nights in Bled. I had classmates who were, one classmate just got his firstborn months into the program, and he was staying actually most of the time in Bled as well, because it's not just the classes and then you pick up your bag and go home. There's the pre-readings, you have to do your case studies, you have to do your homework, and then afterwards is really, really great if you can do some team exercises, whether or not involving certain types of beverages. But mostly it's easier to coordinate even later on when you have to do the project, and when you're doing a lot more group work after class. I think it's I would recommend to sleep in Bled.
Thanks. You two come with different professional backgrounds. I mean, Anca, your home is finance, and Aleš, you're more to marketing and strategy. How did you find this? There were parts of the program that were kind of supposed to be close to you, and then there were maybe dull and repeating, and then there were completely new, like Aleš, you had to start with marketing background, and the first course is accounting, which is completely different. How does it work?
I mean, not the best question, since I came from finance into marketing, so
okay.
I had some background in it, but all in all, I think it was a good balance. because even for the things that were very familiar to me, we were exploring. You don't use everything, every day. So we were exploring some areas of even corporate finance that I'm not as familiar with. And it was enough to sort of, we didn't go too deep into what I already knew. And at the same time, we went into, a whole range of things that I don't normally deal with. And it was great because it offers you then an opportunity, sort of like shines the light on certain aspects that you can then do your own reading up on, and you can really explore something, or you discover something that you never were familiar with, but it's really interesting. So.
Can I add something to this?
Please.
Sorry, because I am working in finance. It's true. Funny thing is that I have graduated marketing. So Aleš, I guess you and I went the opposite. Anyways, I didn't know that you actually have a finance background, but now everything comes together because now I understand why you were helping a lot of our colleagues with our finance course. Now I got it. Okay. You were a little bit humble about that, but I was gonna say that it's true that my background helped, but let's not assume that the topics that were covered in accounting and in finance are topics that I'm dealing with every day, right? I mean, there were a lot of new things that I'm not dealing with, and I still found fascinating. That I still learned a lot from those courses, even myself being working in finance every day. Probably my background, helped me navigate a little bit easier compared to other colleagues. But still, this was again, a beautiful opportunity for us to support each other. I mean, there were other maybe modules that I didn't find as easy as some of my colleagues. It was really very nice the way that we explained topics to each other. We helped each other navigate some of the difficulties. So I think this was also a good experience from this perspective, because in the end, also in our jobs, right, this is a skill that we need every day, right? I mean, we're working on a team, and we are going to rely on each other's knowledge and skills and abilities, and we learn to collaborate, right?
And talking about collaboration, and one of the things which I personally feel proud about the program is the holistic perspective it brings. It brings many things together, and one of the places it does so is the end of module exercise, the team exercise at the end of the module. Tough case. I see the eyes saying, "Uh-oh."
Don't ask me. I'm going to mute myself then.
So I guess it was demanding. What stays from it?
Shall I go first?
Yes, please.
It was demanding, and I will say now it's time for me to say it, Nenad, especially if you have Nenad as a coach, this could be a demanding exercise, right? Because it involves a lot of reading, a lot of thinking, a lot of aligning, a lot of brainstorming within the group, a lot of, and then you are in a place that you think it's a decent place, and you have a check-in with your coach. In this case, that person would be Nenad. And all of a sudden you learn that the decent place that you thought you were in, it's very far away from the expectations, and then you need to go back. You're going to spend some time venting about it first, and then rethink about it, and then you get into a place that is more than decent, is good, maybe hopefully better than good, and you feel good about it because you were challenged. And this is something that I appreciated about the program a lot. It's not like you're being left in a place that is decent. You're being challenged to get the better part of you to contribute to the program. And with the help of your colleagues in the team, in the end, this is a great learning experience. But it's not easy, huh? Not easy. The night before, maybe we should not talk about the number of hours that you slept. Huh? Yeah. Aleš, were you luckier than me?
I will say one thing, Nenad. It sucks.
Okay, he wasn't luckier than me.
But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna reveal too much. But the learning, the lesson is not where you thought it will be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thanks. That's really, I think that's the point. Yeah, yeah. But it is a lot of learning, right?
It is a lot of learning.
It is a lot of learning. How the colleagues from the class, I mean, the diversity, the fact that, also personal dynamics, you hate some, you love some. I mean, strong words, you don't really hate and love, but still, some are more likable, some are less likable. How did that work? Aleš?
I think, speaking to some other colleagues from different generations, I think we were very lucky to have a very, very good group together. And we had a good dynamic. It wasn't competitive, and this would be also one thing to stress to anyone who's interested. It's not a competition. It's not a race. EMBA. It's you can really make some. I've made really good friends that I see, let's say, every couple of weeks here in Ljubljana. So it was great. What was interesting is the change of dynamic, because we have in Slovenia, and maybe Anca can comment. Maybe I think it's the same. We have this pattern, sort of punched into us by the educational system, where there is only one right answer. There is only one who's best in class, and everything. And this, it sort of gets, you see in the beginning when people go into the class, it's this expectation, it's this frame that we were in. And then gradually, I think, already towards the end of the first module, and then especially in the second, the next ones, people relaxed. We became more, ourselves, and the group dynamic really, really, showed, and it lasted throughout the program. I think this is the major change, like the sort of the transformation of a group as a whole.
Yeah, Anca, maybe to you. I have this feeling that in many universities, people come into the programs, also master programs, expecting to learn from professors, which is fine. But I have the feeling that we can really learn a lot from each other. How did you feel about it in the program?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Nana, because this is not the third grade where you go and somebody's teaching and you're learning from this from the teacher. Absolutely, this is a great opportunity to learn from each other, because we're speaking about people who have a significant professional experience. They have a good background professionally, but also culturally. Because there are many things you learn. I think Aleš said that the dynamics in the group were great, and I agree with that. But it doesn't mean that we didn't face situations where we some people are more vocal than others. They tend to to take the stage. They want a higher share of voice, and they feel like they know the best on how we should proceed next. And sometimes there is a time pressure, and sometimes you feel that there's no space for you to have a point of view, or your point of view was amazing and it is not listened to, and you get frustrated. And the same way that I may get frustrated with somebody else gets frustrated with me back, surprise. So we did experience things like that. I liked about the program that we have given feedback to each other in a written way as well, not only spontaneous, like leave me alone. But in a structured way, after interacting with each other. I love that. This was also an eye-opening experience for me. I also love the fact that the faculty takes feedback on the courses and on the teachers, to your question on how we learn from each other, but also we learn from teachers. The way that I see it, of course, the teachers are the professors are there for a reason. Of course, they are there to share with us a lot of knowledge as well. But I find their role more important when it comes to facilitating us coming together and brainstorming, thinking from, you know, a certain situation, a certain business case, or whatever the situation is from a different perspective. This was the beauty of it, mainly, and the part that I have benefited most from.
And I guess this reflects actually somehow the real life nature of the program. If I may ask, Aleš, you know, we often think of education as a place which where we are supposed to learn, and we do learn, but in a way not necessarily reflecting the realities of the company. How did you find it? What things that you were talking about in the program, talking with the professors about, were they close to your, you know, professional life? Can you use these things?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, in my case, I was, and you know this because we've had conversations. I was frustrated because I learned more than I can apply in my professional situation due to the company specifics, due to the, you know, certain aspects which, you know, I would really like to implement, but, you know, and it can be a source of frustration. I think also, you know, a reason why a number of MBA graduates change jobs relatively soon after graduating, you know, because then you start looking for, you know, for opportunities to apply the knowledge. But in general, it's you know, it's different from the prior academic experience, save for from the executive courses that I've done, because it is, you know, you don't learn. I mean, you cover the theory, right? But this is more for you to read before the class. But in class, it's you're discussing cases, and it's not just the faculty. You know, we're doing one case study, but you can see, you know, 30 views from different people from different, you know, companies of like different sizes, different geographies, different sectors, how they view things, and they will share, you know, and this I think is the magic that happens in LED, you know, because you share your specific and you argument your position based on, you know, what your environment feels like. And then suddenly, you know, because I felt like I was, you know, like a doll that got picked up from, you know, my work reality and just, you know, taken, you know, to have a really, you know, topside view, you know, from far. And you just see what else is out there. And, you know, that's what I said before. There's, you know, there isn't just one right answer, because the more you talk to people, the more they explain their position, how they view things. You learn from each other even more, I would say, than you learn from the professors. Professors are mostly, no offense to you, Nenad, but
no,
providing the framework.
Yeah, the framework, if I may add, for sure, but also I believe professors are providing you with the right questions and the right opportunities to reflect, because I think the answers, right, Aleš, I think the answers were always in the room, actually.
Anca, this leads me to a question. I hope it's not too aggressive, too pushy, but I have the feeling that whether we want it or not, although the MBA is a professional degree program, it doesn't affect us only professionally. It changes us as people. It affects us as people. Did it change you in any way? Are you different?
It's absolutely not too aggressive. It's absolutely spot on, and this is why I guess also my comment on when I see this as an investment, and I don't see it as a selfish investment in myself, but I see it an investment in, you know, in the company I'm working for, but also in my family, you know, in whatever I am, you know, a holistic approach, because yeah, it helped me not only gather some more, you know, knowledge, deeper knowledge, but the process of you reflecting, thinking, acting in a certain way, getting feedback, doing things differently next time. That's something that it changes. It changed me in many ways, not only professionally. And quite frankly, I don't believe that we are different people. I'm not a different person at work than I'm at home. I'm the same. The same.
Yeah, it's one.
It's one. Yeah.
It's not two
I
heads.
can't. No, I can't develop in one way and leave the other in one part of my life and leave the other part of my life behind. This is not how it's working.
One last question from my side to both of you. I know it's kind of one of these typical questions which I sometimes, if I receive it, I kind of don't necessarily like it, but I have to ask it. If you would have to define your MBA experience in one sentence to somebody who wants to go to the MBA or considers going to the MBA, what would you say? What is the MBA at Bled in one sentence?
I don't know if it's a sentence.
You can make it a two.
Yeah, but for me, the Bled MBA was an opportunity to challenge myself to grow. And it wasn't, again, I don't want to, underplay this decision. It's an investment, and it's not easy to. Some of the people maybe take a year off and just deal with the MBA, right? But when you, in the same time, you have a very demanding job. At the time, I was responsible, as finance director, was responsible for 13 countries with people in these countries, a large team. So it's a lot to deal with professionally. At home, 4 kids and a husband that was not necessarily always happy about my traveling schedule and so on. And an MBA that I have done at a certain age, a certain maturity level, that there was no other way than to take the most out of it. I was not gonna just do it, just tick the box. Nobody forced me to go through this. I wanted to take this experience, and I wanted to take the most out of this experience. And it wasn't easy, but in the end, when you do this and you show firstly to yourself, but also to the others that it can be done in a successful, I will dare to say, maybe I should be more humble, way, then it feels good. And I think it has an impact. As I see now my kids and the conversation that we're having, I believe that this was also a good example for that, a bit of a role modeling for them too, to see that if you want to do it, then yeah, you can do it and you will do it.
Thank you, Anca. Aleš?
So I get asked, more times than I would personally like, when people are like, oh, you went to Bled. What did you learn? And I know there's a saying, there's no stupid questions, but I cannot, you can't answer in one sentence, what you did for 2 years of your both, professional and private life, especially the second year. It's not just the time that you are there, it's a big part of your life. And I would say it's an experience. It's a demanding experience. It's not something that, you can just fly through and, not really affecting you. But I think if you ask any of us from our class, would you do it again? They would, without hesitation, say absolutely.
That makes sense. Thank you very much, both. I mean, for me as an let's call it educator, as a person who finds the role in life to help others develop in the way they think is needed and helpful. It's only a great pleasure both to see both of you doing what you do in life. I think you are great examples, and also to see that we helped a little bit in this road. If there is any questions from the audience, I think this is the time now when we would gladly answer, all three of us. Would there be questions? So please either put it in the Q&A or into the chat, any way you want. I learned to be patient on the online, that it doesn't necessarily happen in 2 seconds, but I will wait for a minute. So Laura says 29 years old, 6.5 years of experience in IT, and joining the family business. Is it better to, can the two of you see the Q&A? If you open
I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Can you maybe answer, any of the two of you, what you would say? Is it better to wait or better to prepare?
Yeah, I'll try to answer. I don't think there is necessarily a rule. I think there is, for me, the only rule that there is has to do with how motivated you are to take the most out of this experience. Because it's an amazing learning opportunity that you can take it earlier in your professional life or a little bit later in your professional life, depending on also how the other elements of your life are coming together. But as long as you're committed to it and you treat it in the way that it deserves to be treated as an opportunity that you're going to take the most out of, I see why you would want to do this also earlier in your career. I think I would have loved to do that, but for me, there was no space for the reasons that I have explained. So, but it doesn't mean that everybody needs to wait until they are my age. I would have loved to benefit out of this experience earlier.
And by the way, I think, Anca, I share, there is no one rule fits all, but I think preparing for the transition can be really powerful, because then you go into the new situation with the open eyes. And by the way, if this transition will come in, let's say, the next months or a year, that will be in the middle of the program, which will make it demanding, but at the same time, actually, you will be able to solve the problems as you go.
It will be perfect. I had one classmate, Yakov, who was, at the same time taking over the company business, also in the let's say the bathroom industry, and he was having a lot of questions that or a lot of situations where he needed help, and he got it from either the faculty or the class, and I think it was for him, it was very useful, to do it sort of as it goes on, because it means you can avoid some of the mistakes that you would have done, but maybe you can make some that then you know how to correct. So it's a good time, I think.
Thanks. Any other question, colleagues? Anybody else? If no other questions at the moment, I would like to tell, first of all, really tell both Anca and Aleš how glad I am to see you, and I hope we will see each other also in life, not only over the screen. Screen never compensates. And by the way, part of the EMBA, I think, beauty is that we are there. It's not online, we are there. I think it means a lot, and we as a school are committed to keep it like that. With all the pressures of the online, we will keep it like that. So thank you very much for being with us, and thank to the participants joining. I do hope that some of you will decide to be part of the family soon. Thank you all, but I would like to share just one or two slides more as an information. We have changed a little bit as of this year. I must say, after a lot of consideration and under a little bit of the pressure from the Ministry of Education in Slovenia to follow the university rules of starting in October, rather than the corporate rules of starting in February. So we will start in October as of this year, and we are going into 8 modules, not 7 modules as in the past. So it will be the 7 of them will be 2 weeks, and the final module will be 3 weeks. And of course, the 3-year format, which is a bit more flexible one, remains the same. The needs for the program, if Vera, we can see the next slide, please. I'm afraid I can't move the presentation. So the needs for this one. The needs and as we indicated, it's good that you consider yourself mature enough. The absolute minimum is 3 years of meaningful work experience, but the realities are that the average age is around 36. With about 10 years of business experience, but it goes in a span. I think every year we have people around 26, 27, and also above 40. We are quite international. We do expect that you are proficient in English. And in order to join the MBA as an MBA degree program, one is expected to have the bachelor level. Now, every year we admit 1 or 2 if we have, sometimes we have none, sometimes we do have 1 or 2 people who don't have the bachelor degree but have more business experience. They don't get the MBA degree because they can't by law, but they can go through the same program because with their experience and their business acumen, they can contribute, and they basically get a certificate that they have completed a demanding program, and they contribute at the same level as the others. And the deadline for this year, since we start in October, this year the deadline is September. So that's thank you very much what we plan to share. Once again, Anca, Aleš, thank you, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much for having us, Nenad. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you all, and for the candidates, let's stay in touch. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.